Also now, the House is scheduled to reconvene at noon Eastern, with Republican Congressman Mike Johnson intending to seek a full floor vote after last night becoming his party's latest nominee for House Speaker. The Louisiana lawmaker was nominated just hours after Majority Whip Tom Emmer of Minnesota dropped out. Emmer had defeated Johnson and several other candidates earlier in the day, but withdrew from the race when it became clear he didn't have enough support to win a floor vote. On social media yesterday, former President Trump worked hard to torpedo Emmer's bid. As for Congressman Johnson, he is now the fourth nominee for Speaker since Kevin McCarthy's ouster 3 weeks ago. He currently serves as the GOP conference vice chair. Let's bring in founder of the conservative website The Bulwark, Charlie Sykes, and NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin, and MSNBC contributor Mike Barnicle has joined us at the table as well. No leaving, Mike.
Okay.
As well.
He's no leaving.
He's going to get up and just walk away. I'll probably maybe I should get him talking first. Joe, how long does this go on? I mean, you said very eloquently at the top of the show, except for the bad word you used, that this is, impacting
I did not say Diamondbacks. Check the tape.
That was
I
out
never
of
said
line. It was
Diamondbacks.
way too early. You know better. But you did make a really good point that this is absolutely impacting our national security and respect around the world at a time when things are extremely dangerous.
No, well, I mean, again, Republicans watching don't have to take my word for it. They can take the word of Chairman McCall and other Republicans who, Mike Barnicle, come out and say our party's a joke. Last night, somebody said we need to just turn this over to the Democrats. Maybe they can run it better than we can. Of course, that will not happen. But you do wonder at what point, as American soldiers are under fire from Iranian proxies, as Israel is fighting for their very life after just savage terror attacks of a few Sundays ago, as you see what's happening in Ukraine, you see President Xi and others celebrating the dysfunction in Washington, D.C., and our enemies and the unaligned who are trying to figure out whether they come our way or they go China. They look at what Republicans are doing in the House of Representatives. They look at Donald Trump and they go, man, I don't know that we can count on America anymore. And the Republicans know this is happening. And as Willie said yesterday, the 5 or 6 people don't mind that the American reputation is being tarnished across the globe. Again, according to Chairman McCall and other Republicans, they don't care because their TikTok views will go up and they'll get $25 donations from across America.
Yeah, Joe, this is a whole new definition of dangerous self-absorption on the part of a handful of Republicans in the House. And you're absolutely right. I mean, you don't have to go back that far in history, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, to figure out that in foreign capitals around the world, both friend and foe, incidentally, they knew what America was. They knew what America stood for. They knew what America would do because we're fairly predictive in what we would do to defend liberty all over the world on behalf of our allies and against our foes. That no longer is true in foreign capitals because of the behavior of a handful of Republicans in the House of Representatives who have taken our constitutional government, turned it upside down to the point where we are in business, apparently, according to the Republicans, not to govern. We're in business to go send people to Washington to destroy the efficiency of government. And that's where we are today.
So, Charlie, there's actually a connection of what we've been talking about earlier in the show with Mark Meadows and Jenna Ellis, which is that it appears these members of the Republican House caucus are rooting out anyone, C. Emmer, who was nominated and then quickly stepped away because he dared not support those lawsuits challenging the election results. Now, he did sign on to one in Texas, so he's not totally clean on this. But anybody, and they're proudly talking behind the scenes to Trump's people saying, I stood up for you in the caucus room. I stood up for you. We're getting rid of anybody who does not support you. Donald Trump hangs over this process entirely.
No, that's absolutely right. I mean, the Republicans are now in this, doom loop of crazy and absurdity, deep dive, into the backbenches to come up with somebody who would be acceptable. Unacceptable in a party that has been, enabling and empowering the legislative terrorists for years. I mean, this has been a long time coming. But you're absolutely right. What you saw yesterday was Donald Trump facing all of the legal problems that he is facing, reasserted himself as the apex predator of the Republican Party. He doesn't have the clout to get somebody like Jim Jordan elected as Speaker, but he certainly has the clout that he can destroy anyone who has taken a stand against him on the big lie. And so what you are seeing is, in fact, that support for the big lie, support for overturning the 2020 election has now become, not just a litmus test. It has become a life or death requirement in the Republican Party, because Donald Trump has made it clear that if you did not sign on to what he attempted to do on January 6th, that he will kneecap you. He will take you out. He's sitting in court. I mean, think about his day yesterday. He's sitting in court hearing, testimony about how he, all the fraud he engaged in. He hears that Jenna Ellis has flipped the story of Mark Meadows getting immunity. And yet, what does he do? He basically says, I am still in charge of the Republican Party. I can extend this chaos, and I can set the standard for the future of this party. It's kind of a remarkable 24 hours.
And he called yesterday in a post Congressman Emmer a, quote, globalist rhino. Because he did not support the attempted coup in the 2020 election. So, Julie Surkin, this brings us to you today. You've been covering this somehow for the last 3 weeks, trying to figure out who is going to be the choice. For the moment, it's Congressman Johnson of Louisiana. Who's next on the world's most boring reality show?
Well, we've had Groundhog Day never ending for the last 22 days, but today could be different. And it's not because some of the hard-right conservatives, these flamethrowers, are necessarily worried about the two global wars or the impending government shutdown deadline around the corner. This could potentially work out for Mike Johnson, the four-term Louisiana congressman, because these hard-right conservatives are worried that moderate Republicans are going to get fed up with this entire process and start working across the aisle with Democrats to at least temporarily empower the Speaker pro tem, Patrick McHenry. This could really be some of these hard-right conservatives' last-ditch effort to get somebody in the Speaker's chair that they could potentially swallow. And Mike Johnson was one of the chief architects, as you know, of that 2020 election overturn effort in the Capitol. And it's why, for so many reasons, he has a support not only of former President Trump, but also he could potentially unite the wide swath of opinions in the conference. He's not necessarily a loud flamethrower like Jim Jordan was. He operates quietly. He's even been seeking this bid, I'm told, quietly this whole time for the past few weeks. But he didn't officially enter until he saw the writing on the wall, of course, for Emmer and some of the others. And potentially at 12 o'clock today, while we're skipping these secret ballots behind closed doors, Johnson apparently feels confident enough that he could go to the floor as a current member of leadership, the last current member of leadership that could potentially get the gavel and get the 217 votes needed on the floor. Now, it won't be easy for him. Obviously, he has an uphill battle here. But as I said, this could really be the last effort, the last time that some of the hard right, including those who ousted Kevin McCarthy from the Speaker's chair, could actually get their guy or somebody that they could be okay with in the Speaker's chair. Because Johnson doesn't support Ukraine aid. He's been skeptical of it in the past. He's going to have to enter the room right away if he wins the gavel with McConnell, with Jeffries, with Schumer to try and hammer out the next government funding deadline. But he's really somebody who could be the voice for some of these hard right conservatives.